Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, I'm having to take little breaks between shooting things like this because the neighbor behind me is doing some work in the yard and they're using like a gas-powered leaf blower. So if you hear that in the background, that's what's going on. Anyway, we've continued with the building the planter. I just got a little point where it's quiet right now, so that's why I decided to do the opening. I've begun trenching out the rest of the first planter and almost got that in place. I got to level one of the pieces now and shift one of the corner blocks around a little bit, but we're getting close to having that first level on the first planter completed. And hold on a second, I'll show you where we are. So as you can see, I got all four sides on it. This piece over here right now still needs a lot of leveling. It's actually pretty good on that end, but you can clearly see it's standing up a little bit on this side. I also got to lower the back piece down a little bit too, but that's just all part of the adjustment process, getting it all to fit together nice and square. So we'll come back to that in a few minutes, and I'm going to work on that now. Alright, so I got the first layer attached, all kind of put together. Everything's nice and level. I think I'm going to try and maybe scoop a little bit of the soil out of here just because I want to put new quality soil. Now this is actually pretty good quality soil here, but still I might want to scoop a little bit of it out of there because I have some leaf waste I want to put in here, and then like I said, I want to put some quality soil in here. But I think this one is basically done here. I actually think right now what I need to do, because the next thing I got to do is figure out exactly where the walkway is going to be, so I can figure out exactly where the next planter is going to start. So I'm going to have to level this out a little bit, probably scoop some of the dirt out of this area right here to kind of get it all flat so that I can have the pavers go down the middle of that. So I'll probably do that, and I'm going to have to run over to Home Depot, I think, to get some sand, because I'm going to want to put some sand and maybe some foliage blocking material under it, some garden netting or something under it, to kind of keep things from growing up between the cracks on the pavers. So I think we're going to do that, and hopefully by the time we get done with that, maybe the guy will be done with his gas-powered noisemaker in the backyard and we can actually talk a little bit. Alright, so I'm back from Home Depot. I got 9 bags of this what they call decomposed granite, and I'm going to use that kind of as a base in the footpath here to make a smooth level surface for the stones to go on top of. Then since there's going to be a gap between the stones, I'm figuring there's going to probably be about a 1-inch gap between each of the stones. I've gotten some of these little pea pebbles that are going to kind of fill in the gap. And I also got a roll of this weed control material. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put that on the ground beneath the sand, and that will keep weeds and stuff for growing up between the stones, because we don't want that to happen. And this stuff's supposed to last for years and years and years. So hopefully that should be good, and that should work well and keep anything from growing up in the area where I don't want things growing. And finally, I pulled all these stones, these paving stones I'm going to use. I pulled them out, put them on the driveway, and hosed them off just to kind of get them clean. They've been kind of sitting there, it looks like probably for years and years, and they were covered with dirt and mud and bugs and all that stuff. So I wanted to get all that off there and give them a little bit of a chance to dry before we would put them into place. So let's put all this together. Now before we go too much further here, I want to get a little bit more soil out of here so that this thing has, a little bit more room to put the stuff I'm going to put in there, because I'm figuring I'm going to have about 2 inches of this, and these stones are about 2 inches tall. So I think if I get it down 4 or 5 inches, that's going to be just about right for here. So we're pretty close. You got to remember these pieces of lumber are 2x6, and you can kind of see there's about 4 inches, 3 or 4 inches sticking up there. So like I said, if I go down about 1 more inch on that, I think that'll be just about right. Alright, now so I've set up both sides for the boundary of the walkway that's going to go down the middle, and got it kind of smoothed out. We got the posts in for the next part of the planter, and now I'm going to roll out the weed control netting, and then we're going to put some sand on top of that. Alright, so I got the anti-weed netting down, and I'm going to just pour some of the granite material over the top of it. And like I said, that's going to become the base that the stones are set on. That's something that you can do that just enables you to level things out, make it nice and smooth and nice and level and nice and flat, which is what we want here. All right, so I got the netting down, I got the gravel down, kind of smoothed it out. I just basically kind of used a flat piece of wood to make sure it's a nice smooth layer. It's about two inches down on each side from the 2x4 boundaries. And now I'm going to put the paving stones in place. Now, we're like I said before, the paving stones are 16 inches across, and the truth is it's 34 inches from here to here, and almost 40 inches from here to here. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the paving stones down the middle of the walkway. I'm going to leave probably about an inch gap between them, and then there'll be like a 4-inch or 5-inch gap along each side, and that's what we're going to fill in with the little pebble stones there. So what I've got is I've got actually a 2x4 right now, and that's exactly the width of this piece here. So I'm going to set the 2x4 in there, and then we're going to space the paving stones an inch off of that, and that should get them centered running right down the middle of the walkway. So you may recall a couple months ago I went and visited Costco and bought just a ton of meat for the freezer. I decided to pull out a Morton's tri-tip steak and put it on the smoker and see how that works. Looks really, really good. We've gotten the internal temperature up to 154, 158, which is good. It says 145, but a little bit warmer is going to be good. So yeah, that's what's for dinner tonight. All right, so we got the pavers in. I knew from the beginning that since I only had 10 of the pavers that I wasn't going to be able to run the whole length of the thing. And I was looking at Home Depot when I was picking up stuff today, and they didn't have these exact pavers. So what I've decided to do is just kind of center it in there, and it isn't even really centered. It's a little closer on this side than it is on the back side, but that's fine. You know, I wanted to get something that was kind of a stable surface going down the middle of it that I can walk on, and it's nice and smooth, and it's nice and level and all that. And so the next thing to do, I think, is probably to put the little pebbles in between the stones, but I'm not going to actually do that yet, because I think what I want to do is I want to build the other planter, which is going to go right here, and I want to get that done, I think, before I put the stones in, the little pebbles in, because if I put the pebbles in now, it's likely that I'm going to get some dirt into here, and I don't want to have dirt on top of the pebbles. So the pebbles are going to be probably the last thing that go in, but right now the stones are in place. I can walk on them. They're nice and smooth. They don't wobble around a little bit, and what little wobble there is, that'll kind of settle over time. But I think this is going to look really good when we're done. Like I said, it's going to be we're going to basically just have another planter over here in this location, and I think we'll probably work on that tomorrow. So I'm going to wrap this video up right now. We've made good progress today. I think, you know, one more day we ought to be able to get this one installed, and then once I get it installed, you know, get the first level done, then it's just really a piece of cake to put the second level on, because all I got to do then is just drop the second brick on top of the rebar, which I've already driven into the ground, and put the wood in there, and that will be good to go. So I think we're making good progress. I think that's all I have for today. So thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.